In the midst of every trouble, there are always glimmers of hope. Thanks for watching. All right. Well, hello again. Thank you very much for joining us on Glimmers of Hope. We're really excited to be here with you. We're going to tell stories about the fire event in Altadena and the glimmers of hope that come out of it. Mm-hmm. Our guest today, we're so excited to have Malia Brock. Malia, thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to read this real quick from your website so people can get an idea of who you are. From your website, we learned that Malia tells stories for the kid inside everyone. She spent years bringing stories to life in churches, schools, conferences, even bedside conversations, using her background in social work, theater, and faith to connect people through the power of story. She's written books, performed stage works, and even turned her own life experiences, including recovery from a stroke and heart surgery, into reminders of God's grace and resilience. Perfect for what we do here. Thank you very much.
That sounds great.
Well, you sound awesome. Someday somebody's going to write something about me. So you're just perfect for what we do here, Malia. Thank you very much. Now, before I start asking questions about the fire and all that, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you mean by you? What do you do?
First of all, I'm a mom and a wife, and I have a 26-year-old daughter and a 38-year-old son, and I love my husband dearly. He is dearly. Sorry.
It's okay. That's good, man. That's good. I have a wife like that.
That's a champion.
Yeah, good.
So
that's what you do, and you take these personal experiences, and you're a storyteller, and you connect people to God with their stories, with your story, and all that.
Because we're living stories,
right?
So if we miss that part, that we're living story, then we've missed out on the whole purpose of hearing His story.
There you go.
The storyteller.
Well, speaking of stories, let's go back in time to January 7th, 8th, and 9th of this year. Can you believe it's been almost a year?
No, I can't.
Ridiculous.
Yes,
just
is.
Ridiculous. Yeah. So 11 months ago, I know what I was doing that night. They all know what I was doing that night. They've heard it, 20 times, whatever it is. January 7, 8, and 9. Take us back to that day. What was going on with you?
I had to really actually write down it. That night of January 7th, I have never run for my life before, ever. And I did that night. We'd gotten all the cell phone, telling us to get going. And finally, the last one was, we need to go. So we were running around the house. I had a flashlight in my mouth because darkness was everywhere. The lights have been out most of the day. And it was now pitch black where I live. Pitch black. Oh, yeah. So I had a flashlight. My daughter is 26. Thank goodness for 26-year-old people who are able to tell you, go, Mom, go get your pajamas. Go get a change of clothes. Go get your shoes. Go get your toiletries, Mom. If you can find them, I'll be in if you need. Get your computer, Mom. You know your computer's important. So she was able to tell me what to do, which is really important. So got those things. Like we have a dog. And we had some friends that said, come to our house. We'll take the dog as well. And you come. So we literally, I remember getting out of the house needing help to get to the car because I used a cane for stability and needing help to get to the car because it was so windy and embers were flying down the street. And I thought, what in the world? I've never seen anything like this before. And just out of sync with my own reality, really, the whole experience.
Have you lived in the area for quite a long time?
Almost 8 years now.
Okay, and that's what that is a common theme that we've all experienced it, right? But not like this.
No.
All of a sudden, fire that's usually over there. we say that a lot. My wife says, it's usually over there on the other side of the hill. All of a sudden, it's literally in your front yard.
Right. Yeah. So we went to these friends' house. I don't think we slept at all that night because the wind was so horrific. And a tree had been lost across their street. And for some reason, the people removing the tree decided to come at 4 a.m. So we were all up at 4 listening to that happen. So we were safe in a house, but it was unbelievable. The next morning, the 8th, my husband and our friend decided they would go back to our property and see what they could see. But you could not. Things were blocked off. So they went to behind the property behind us and knew their gate was open and went in the gate, peeked over the fence, and they could see embers in the yard.
Right.
And they thought our house was going next. The garage behind our home was on fire. they thought ours is next. And we'd heard from a neighbor that half of our block was gone.
Right.
And it was our dear neighbor that had called Tom and said, do you need us to move some cars out of your parking lot? He lost his home. Do you need us to move some cars out of your driveway? And David said, yes, the keys are here in the garage. And could you move a couple of gas cans that are back in this area too?
Oh, boy.
So that was really God who did that. And and just we really thought we're going to lose our house. We really did believe that was probably going to happen in this process, but it didn't. And it took a long time for me to go back to the house. I personally, the heartache of what I knew I was going to see when I went back, with my neighbors being gone, their homes being gone, and just Altadena, the beautiful city of Altadena, being destroyed.
Just devastated. 9,400 structures.
And when I
It
went
was
back,
amazing.
it looked like a war had happened.
Uh-huh.
It really did. It looked like we were from another country.
Right.
And yet it was America, California, beautiful Southern California. And it was hard to get out of the car and go inside the house. It smelled like a campfire taking place, a really bad campfire had taken place inside my house.
So that's chapter 1. This is great. We're going to tell a story.
Okay.
It's kind of fun. Telling the story with the storyteller. So chapter 1 is the initial explosion. The story begins, right? Chapter 2 is the return to your house in the midst of the destruction. Now, I know you didn't lose your actual house. Everyone around you, okay, is destroyed. That place. What was it like for you? Tell me what your loss was like. What were you experiencing at that time?
Just guilt and gratefulness. I say we live on the crossroads of guilt and gratefulness. Gratefulness, we have a home, and feeling guilty and unworthy of having that home. So, and it's not an easy street to live on. It's difficult, but at the same time, I've learned that there's a parallel storytelling that's going on with embracing. I always carry around this card because it's a prayer card. Over 25 people on this card, families, single people and families that lost their homes that I know personally.
Wow.
And that's an unbelievable amount of people and relationships. Right. And so I live the parallel story with them. From what I understand from psychologists, I had the same thing called traumatic stress disorder as well. But it was, I partner with them, so mine seems less, but it isn't. It's still to be acknowledged and still to be grieved and still to be processed. And then it's waiting for God to say, what's next? As you partner, as you parallel with this person, how do you love and care for them? How does your story impact their story? So,
well, you have your personal story is quite a bit of struggle, okay, and recovery and stuff. Have those experiences come back to help you, through that time?
Yeah, I'm grateful that I walk. I was told I would never walk when I had a stroke in 2015, but I walk. And in the whole process of it being related to an aortic valve that needed to be replaced several years ago, it ended up being a double surgery because there was a leak in the suturing of the aortic valve. And so I was opened back up. I didn't know this. My family did, of course, waiting for me to come out of surgery all day. And then it was just put back together. It's kind of strange how they do open heart surgery. It's kind of even creepy. Things are taken apart and put back together. Kind of metal seeming. So, yeah.
And those experiences helped you through this. In the midst of, everybody's got their own story. But was there a moment that you caught your own, glimmer of hope? Something small, maybe a person came up to you, or a word someone said, and you heard it. God is still in this. Yeah,
I would call them small glimmers, and then I have some big fat glimmers too. So the small glimmer, I would say our street. We got into this little place of calling ourselves Winrock Strong, and we began to gather to just tell each other stories, whether you lost your house or you were rebuilding your home. And of the 6 families that lost their homes, 2 sold, and so they're still a part of Winrock Strong no matter what. and the other 4 in the process of rebuilding. We've only seen one home start its rebuild, but just gathering and having appetizers and something to drink has really brought a strength back.
You mentioned that you continue to get together at regular intervals, and once upon a time we would call that a block party.
Yeah.
But we don't have. They're not.
Yeah.
We don't say block party anymore.
Yeah.
But what happens at those gatherings? What do you do?
We just laugh. And maybe, I don't know, maybe we cry too, but for the most part, we just laugh and tell each other our stories, where we're at right now, and eat. You know, food is such a common denominator for gathering up with people. And so, yeah, it's great. And we're Winrock strong.
And you're being strong together.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's what neighbors are about, or should be. They used to be, as you said, that it was a part of what we did on streets, is we gathered together on each other's porches or yards, or so that's us.
So a lot of folks we talk to say that rebuilding, isn't just about building a house. It's about faith or identity or purpose. Your house is there, but you're still recovering. What is that for you? What does rebuilding mean for you and your group of friends there?
Everybody's in a different process. From what I understand, there's a lot of red tape, or whatever you'd call it, in the rebuild process, and it's different for everybody on the block and the other blocks around our homes. It seems like there's a lot of rebirth and a lot of remodeling going on too, like the house behind us where the garage burned. It looked like they're in the process of a remodel, perhaps, and so they've moved forward with that, and they were able to move forward more quickly, I think, than other people on their block, which is nice. For us,
it kind of got us off the starting line that we've been waiting for a long time, and we took that opportunity. I guess is that an ironic way to use that word?
No.
Opportunity to do things that we had put off for so long.
Right.
So in the midst of rebuilding and replacing, we'd replace everybody does the same thing, furniture and beds and everything. But we took that opportunity to do some projects inside the house and everything. But that's how I'm fortunate to be able to do that. You're fortunate to be able, your friends or your neighbors are fortunate to be able just to rebuild that part of their house and not just the whole thing.
Yeah, one of the things we didn't do, a lot of people did replace lots of stuff, and we decided we'll just go ahead and remediate things and just, doesn't need to be replaced, because we have some beautiful pieces in our home, and we didn't want to replace them because they're kind of irreplaceable pieces. So they did a thorough cleaning process, the remediation teams that we had, and it was good enough for us. Plus, we just bought this great mattress.
There you go.
We didn't want to go search for a good mattress.
Yeah, for us it was time to buy a new bed anyway, and then this kind of forced us to do that, and we got rid of this couch. It was just a couch. Instead of paying several $100s to clean the couch, we paid a few $100s more and replaced the couch. But my wife's great grandparents, Queen Anne style chair. Well, we can't replace. That's irreplaceable. So, so you're a storyteller. Okay, you make art with your stories. Right? You're an author. Did your art? Did it help you heal in some way?
Yeah.
Did your stories help you heal in some way?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Absolutely. I had the opportunity through a dear friend of mine, Beretta Heidelberg, who's from Lake Avenue Congregational Church. She has several nonprofits, and she invited me to come for a 4th week of a group called. I have to show my notebook.
I can hold
it. Very heavy.
This right here.
Yeah, Taco Tuesdays, and it was a 7-week. So this is one of my huge glimmers. A 7-week healing process for people who had lost their homes. And what they did was they invited in professionals, practitioners, speakers, therapists, people that were health professionals, came in, and for 7 weeks they just loved on people and cared for them. And so I was week 4, which was living creatively. And I was the first person to talk, and I was supposed to open up the whole reality of living in your story and writing your story out of loss. So talk about an elephant in the room. And so I decided that I was going to actually make an elephant.
And carry the elephant with you.
I did. Yes. And they wondered, what in the world is this? And so, I said, we're going to talk about the elephant in the room. I only had 30 or 35 minutes to do this process, which is not very much time to do what I wanted to do.
Right.
But, deadlines are deadlines, right? So, and there were 3 artists that were sharing. Sorry, Dina. And so I thought, we're going to name this elephant in the room, which is a friendly way to approach something, is name it. And so I sent Dina's picture to about 8 people, and that became the ballot. And I said, you're going to vote and decide what this elephant's name is. I didn't say him or her. And it became Dina. That was on the list. And in fact, I think it was somebody we know that gave us that name.
So it's Deanna or Dina.
Dina. Like Altadena.
Dina, got it.
Dina. And so Dina then became this friendly object in the room. So we're going to talk about Dina, the elephant in the room. And I'm going to do it through an exercise called the door exercise. What it is a diagram of a bunch of doors. I said, we're only going to go into one door, but I want you to name other doors in your story. Okay. Whether it's childhood or whether it's growing up adopted or whether it's my brother and I or my sister and I, sibling door. We're going to look at all these doors at some point as storytellers, but I want you to look at one door on January 7th and 8th. And that's the door we're going to go inside, and you can feel the room go.
Right.
And I had to walk them through kind of a process. I'm not a therapist, but I know enough about therapy to know that you have to go back to the day. You have to find a way back to the day that's gentle and kind. And so I had them kind of go through the time frame. Do you remember waking up? Do you remember what you ate that morning? Do you remember what it felt like outside if you'd gone outside that day? Do you remember when the wind started? Do you remember how strong that wind was? And what did you feel? And,
wow.
And so I'm asking them, because I gave all of them, I'm a real object person, so I gave everybody a number 2 pencil with an eraser, which is a very important object on the top of a pencil. And I gave everybody a journal, and I said, I only want you to write in the journal, because there's something powerful when we use our hand, our strong, dominant hand to write. Our brain is going to remember, it's going to attach to that memory. And so I only want you to write. You're not going to use your computer. Some of you have your laptops. Do not touch them. Only go to your notebooks. So, and they're kind of glad that they got a journal and a pencil. So it was a gift to them. And I said, I only want you to put the story in here. It's a sacred place. Here's some stickers to decorate it with later. So right. Just start here in the journal. Don't go anywhere else. And so we did that exercise. And then I had to say, now bookmark. I need to stop. We need to bookmark this in our soul and our spirit. And I prayed before we started too, because I didn't want the enemy to bring any false story to them, anything that would inhabit the right. story that was theirs. And I really shut him out.
Talking them through that process, have you seen folks in the process of recovery? Have you seen that?
Absolutely. In fact, I will be returning to some of these men and women who want to continue this process. Somewhere in the new year, I'll be doing that.
Beautiful.
So because they want to move forward. And if I could just...
Yep, that was my next thing. I know you brought a story. You wanted to read
a story.
Yeah,
I do. And if I could just say this, that about this organization, that it was 16 speakers and lots of artists. Every night there was an artist. There were hosts. It was hosted by Widow's Treasure. There were sponsors for this NAMI, the National Alliance for Mental Illness, the National Council of Negro Women, Community Clergy Coalition, and Lake Avenue Church. They all were sponsors
right.
of this event. That 7-week was an expensive event. It was free to anyone who needed to be there, wanted to be there. It was free to them. And so it's going to continue, actually.
Beautiful.
And it's going to continue the process of healing for people. And it's going to help many people who need actually help, like widows and single people who lost their homes, especially females who don't know how to talk to maybe a possible contractor
right.
about how to do this.
Well, that's our purpose.
Yeah.
Our purpose is to come together. Mm-hmm. We're all on the same team, and let's all work together to make that happen.
Absolutely.
So we have a few minutes left. I want to give you a chance to read the story that you picked out.
This is called The Place Called Home. It's one of a very early piece of mine, and it is the very essence of what home is. Home is not the building. It's not the brick and mortar. It's not all the stuff we possess. Right. It's us. We're home. And so this is that piece. There is a place called home for all of us. And for some of us, it takes years to find home. It's not far away and closer than you would dare to believe. Sometimes we stumble upon it by accident. Sometimes we mistake it for a place that seems to possess a sense of hominess. But after a while, we realize this just doesn't feel like home. Some of us are born right into home, and some of us have the rare privilege of bringing it to others. And still, there are some of us who are orphans, if you will. We don't know where home is. How will we ever find what we've never had? Some of us just rent home, if you know what I mean. We're afraid we can't afford this place called home, so we just rent it. And some of us have the rare privilege of bringing it to others. And home is one of the most wonderful places imaginable. You can put your feet on the coffee tables at home. You can leave your socks on the floor at home. You can pack the whole thing up, move it somewhere else, and call that new place your new home. The menu is always good there, whether it's franks and beans or turkey with all of the trimmings. The conversation is long and satisfying there. Everyone gets a chance to speak their mind. Oh, sure, there are disagreements at home. The voices might be raised to a fever pitch. But at home, one tries hard to hear what the other person is saying. And with hands locked tight, face to face, we agree to try to understand. One finds forgiveness there over and over and over again. And if one's been hurt, wounded to the very deepest part, run fast to home. Why? They'll be waiting for you there, and they'll pass the tissues as many times as needed. Oh, then there's laughter at home. From red-faced, sore-tummied hilarity, there's laughter at home. There's giggles, red-faced. It's such a comfort to know you don't have to be anyone else except yourself. You can dare to be regular, even average at home. Why? Because they'll accept you there at home. And when the time comes in one's life to choose this place, to really choose it, oh, let me tell you, they're going to hoop and holler as never before. Why? Because someone else will be picking up all of your socks. Those silly knock-knock jokes of yours will finally end? No. Because out of all the craziness in our world that promises one sure failure in life, relationship, and all that we could ever hope to be, finding this one true place called home is by far the best decision we can ever make. A place called home.
Place called home.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Well, Altadena is our home.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm sorry, the name of the street again?
Is Winrock.
Winrock is home. And wherever we come together is home.
Mm-hmm.
Malia, it's just beautiful. We have to split, but I wanted to say thank you again for being here. And people can go to maliabrock.com.
Mm-hmm.
There's no I's in Malia.
No.
MELEA Brock, BROCK, all one word, .com, maliabrock.com. And I'm sure folks will be visiting your website and they'll be looking at your product and they'll learn more about
Absolutely.
how to get reconnected with God with the story. It's beautiful. Thank you so much for being here today, and good luck with the next event there. And God bless your ministry. It's a really big deal, telling God's story. Mm-hmm. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you all for coming. It's great. We're really enjoying these being together with you guys. We'll see you next time. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Please reach out to us. info@glimmersofhope.me